Hi Libra, how's it going? I hope you're doing wonderful today. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Lynn, and this is going to be a general reading for from the end of January to the end of February. It's a general reading, so just take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. These are the cards that came out. This is a Celtic cross spread. But before I get started on your reading, I'm just going to go over some Libra stuff, okay? So, Libra, birthdays from September 23rd to October 22nd, in case there's any cross watchers. So, Libras have a very distinct vibe. They're charming and social, they're natural diplomats, they're smooth talkers and usually very likable, they're fair-minded and just, they're ruled by the scales, they hate unfairness and try to see all sides, they're peace-loving, conflict makes you uncomfortable. A lot of times Libras play mediator. They're romantic and affectionate. They're Venus ruled, so they love, beauty, and connection. They're stylish and aesthetic driven. They usually have great taste in clothes, art, or just vibes in general. But sometimes they can be a little bit indecisive. Seeing every perspective is great until it's time to choose. Sometimes they can be a little bit of a people pleaser. Libras might put others' needs first just to keep the peace. They're idealistic. They want harmony, and they can get disappointed when reality doesn't match the dream. On the shadow side, they can sometimes avoid confrontation. They may ignore problems instead of dealing with them directly. Sometimes they can be a little passive-aggressive, especially when they feel unheard. And sometimes they can be a little dependent on validation. Libras like reassurance and being appreciated. And in relationships, Libras are loyal, attentive, romantic. They need balance, communication, emotional reciprocity. They thrive with partners who are decisive and emotionally honest. And when I noticed, when all your cards came out, Libra, I noticed you had 3 queens come out. Okay? Seeing 3 queens usually points to strong feminine energy, but not just in a gendered way. It can be emotional intelligence, intuition, creativity, maturity, inner authority. So this often means you or the situation are operating from a place of wisdom, not impulse. These 3 queens, Queen of Cups, Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands, can represent multiple influential women in your life, or they can represent a support system of strong, perceptive people, or they could be saying that advice, mentorship, or collaboration is key right now. 3 queens can mean you're embodying different aspects of maturity, emotional, mental, practical. 3 queens can mean or represent a call to step into your power and trust your instincts. And it can also mean you have balance between your heart, your mind, and your actions and your resources. For some of you, 3 queens can mean your psychic sensitivity is heightened. Spirit may be trying to tell you to pay attention to gut feelings or your dreams or subtle cues. Remember, the queens often whisper rather than shout. On the shadow side of this, having 3 queens can represent emotional overload or over caretaking or people pleasing, or being too passive instead of taking decisive action. Sometimes it's a nudge to move from queen energy to action. Wisdom is there, but now it needs direction. Okay. So let's start with your cards. Your first card that came out is the Queen of Cups. This card represents your current situation. This card is saying that you, Libra, are sitting deep in emotional awareness and intuition. So, yeah, this card can suggest heightened sensitivity. You're feeling everything. Your intuition is very strong. Your gut feelings are accurate. Or it can represent emotional maturity. You're responding with compassion rather than reaction. Or it can mean that there's a need for gentleness, rest, and emotional safety. For a Venus-ruled sign, like you, Libra, this is very on brand, but also deeper than usual. So collectively, Libra, this can mean processing emotions from the past few months or being the emotional anchor for others. Or some of you may be reflecting on relationships, healing, and forgiveness. Or it can indicate a creative or spiritual focus like journaling, art, meditation, or tarot itself. There's a strong observer energy. You're watching, feeling, understanding, but not rushing. And on the shadow side, it's warning you. The Queen of Cups can also warn of emotional overwhelm or absorbing other people's feelings too much, or maybe avoiding hard conversations just to keep the peace. Libra, this may be a reminder to protect emotional boundaries. It's empathy without self-sacrifice. You're being asked to trust your emotional intelligence, lead with compassion, but not at the expense of yourself. This card is saying, Libra, you already know the truth. Listen to it. Okay? And then what's crossing you or what's challenging you or your situation is the Seven of Swords reversed. What's challenging you, or it could be what you're celebrating, okay? This card is saying that the truth is coming out. Secrets are being revealed. Dishonesty is losing its power, or self-deception is ending. Or it could indicate someone, you or another person, are not able to keep up the facade anymore. Crossing with the Queen of Cups, this directly challenges your emotional sensitivity. This card can also show up as realizing someone hasn't been honest, or you're finally seeing the truth you've felt but didn't want to name. Or it could indicate emotional clarity forcing uncomfortable conversations. This card can represent guilt, a confession, or accountability from you, Libra, or someone else. And for you, this is tough because you knew intuitively with the Queen of Cups. But acknowledging it disrupts harmony. So the challenge is choosing emotional truth over emotional comfort. And if it's something you're celebrating, it could indicate no more lies or no more self-betrayal. You're reclaiming integrity. You're choosing transparency and honesty. You're done pretending everything is okay. Spirit is saying that's a win, Libra, even if it's uncomfortable. So these cards together say your intuition has been speaking loudly. You can't unknow what you now understand, or emotional wisdom is exposing what's been hidden. The Queen of Cups feels the truth, and the Seven of Swords reversed confirms it. You're in a moment of emotional honesty. Spirit is saying, trust what you're picking up on, or release avoidance. Healing begins when truth is acknowledged. These two cards together often mark the start of emotional liberation or honest communication, or a shift toward healthier boundaries. And then your foundation card is the Knight of Cups. So at the root of everything, your situation is built on romantic idealism and emotional pursuit. You've been leading with your heart. This card is saying a dream, relationship, or emotional vision has been motivating your choices. You believed in the potential of something or someone. The Knight of Cups is the hopeless romantic, the one who follows feelings over logic. The Knight of Cups feeds directly into the Queen of Cups. The Knight equals emotional pursuit, idealism, and the Queen equals emotional maturity and awareness. So you didn't start naive, you started hopeful. You've been offering love, empathy, and forgiveness, or you're wanting a fairy tale outcome, or you're giving someone or a situation the benefit of the doubt. This foundation clashes with the Seven of Swords reversed. This can come across as idealism meets truth, or fantasy meets reality, or emotional pursuit meets honesty. You may be realizing you wanted this to be something it wasn't. And that realization isn't a failure, it's growth. You followed your heart, you gained emotional wisdom, and now you must face the truth. It's a shift from dreaming to knowing. Your foundation is pure-hearted. There's no manipulation here. If anything, this reading reassures you that your intentions were genuine, your feelings were valid, or you didn't imagine the emotional depth. Now, Spirit is asking, what do you do with this clarity? And then your fourth card represents your past, but is relevant to your current situation. This card is saying that at the heart of your story is a mutual emotional bond. This card tells us that there was genuine reciprocity, or feelings were shared, acknowledged, or mirrored, or you didn't imagine the connection, but it was real. So this could have been a romantic relationship, or a deep emotional connection, or soulmate style bond, or a partnership built on equality and mutual respect. So far, we see mutual connection and emotional exchange, a romantic pursuit and idealism, emotional awareness and intuition, and truth, honesty, and revelations. So your current sensitivity isn't coming out of nowhere. It's rooted in a real bond that mattered. And why this still affects you now, it's because the Two of Cups was genuine. You may be mourning the loss of what could have been, or struggling to reconcile truth with the memory of love. Or you're holding space for both appreciation and disappointment. This card says that this mattered, and that's why it's hard. The shadow and healing message here is the Two of Cups can sometimes keep you emotionally tied to the past, remembering the connection as perfect, or hoping honesty will restore it exactly as it was. But with the Seven of Swords reversed, the message is honesty changes the dynamic for better or worse. Healing doesn't erase the love, it redefines it. This reading is deeply emotional, relational, and reflective. For you, Libra, a relationship-centered sign, this is huge. So far, your story is a real connection, a heartfelt pursuit, an emotional awakening, and the truth surfacing. And then your immediate future card, what's likely to happen very soon in your life, is the Queen of Swords. So what's likely to happen next is mental clarity and decisive communication. After all that emotional depth, you're moving into a phase of speaking truth plainly, or setting firm boundaries, or choosing logic over emotional longing, or you're cutting through confusion and illusion. You're saying you understand how you feel, now you're choosing what's healthy. Okay? Notice the transformation. So it starts with an emotional pursuit, an emotional understanding, emotional mastery through clarity. You're not becoming cold, Libra. You're becoming clear. So for late January to late February, you may have an honest, direct conversation, or you ask direct questions and expect real answers, or you make a clean decision about a relationship or a situation, or you choose self-respect over keeping the peace. This could be ending something with clarity, or redefining a connection with boundaries, or finally speaking what's been held back. The Queen of Swords fits you perfectly. Justice, fairness, truth, balance. This is you reclaiming your voice and authority. And paired with the Seven of Swords reversed, this feels like truth spoken or lies exposed, or no more emotional fog. This reading tells a very clear story. A real connection was felt. You followed your heart. The truth surfaced. Now you choose clarity and self-respect. It's a graceful but firm turning point, with your heart intact and your mind sharp. And then the outcome that you desire most in your situation is the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands embodies confidence and independence. You're owning your power without arrogance. She represents passion and energy. You're pursuing what truly excites you. She represents magnetism and charisma. You're being fully yourself and unapologetically visible. And she's all about courage and decisiveness. You're stepping forward without fear. So Libra, your heart is saying you want to feel empowered, in control and vibrant, not trapped or uncertain. So far in your reading, we have emotional awareness and intuition for your present. What's crossing you is the truth being revealed and honesty surfacing. For your foundation, you're following your heart and romantic idealism. For the past, there's a meaningful emotional connection. Your desired outcome is the Queen of Wands, confident, independent, vibrant, self-expression. You have felt deeply and genuinely. Your intuition has guided you. The truth is coming out. Now you desire to emerge empowered, radiant, and self-assured. It's essentially the journey from emotional depth to emotional clarity to personal empowerment. The Queen of Wands as the desired outcome shows that you aren't just looking for resolution or closure. You want to reclaim your spark and agency. You're not relying on anyone else for validation, or you're expressing your passion freely. You're leading with confidence instead of just kindness or compromise. It's a very Libra healthy aspiration, balancing heart, mind, and personal power. And then your seventh card is your self-image, how you see yourself. And you got the King of Swords. This King of Swords embodies intellectual authority. This is someone who values logic, reason, and clarity. The King of Swords is represented by decisiveness. How you see yourself, able to cut through confusion and make tough calls. And there's fairness and objectivity. You're weighing all sides before acting. And then there's self-discipline and control. You're mastering your thoughts and actions. So this card is saying that you see yourself as someone who is capable, clear-headed, and authoritative, maybe even more rational than emotional. So you started with emotional pursuit. You had a meaningful emotional bond. There was emotional awareness and intuition. The truth was revealed, honesty surfacing. The Queen of Wands, your desired outcome. You want to feel confident, empowered, and radiant. And the King of Swords, your self-image. You see yourself as logical, fair, and in control. You're aware of your own capacity for logic and discernment. Even though you're emotionally deep, you value the ability to make decisions with your head, not just your heart. There may be some inner tension. There may be a desire to feel vibrant and passionate versus seeing yourself as disciplined and rational. You respect your intellect and fairness. You may feel you need to rise above emotions to act wisely. This self-image supports you in dealing with the truths uncovered by the Seven of Swords reversed. It also gives you the tools to move toward the Queen of Wands energy that you desire, logical clarity and emotional empowerment. And then your environment card, or how others see you and your situation, you got the Eight of Swords reversed. So your environment, or how others see you, this card is saying reversed that it's about feeling trapped or restricted, literally or metaphorically. There's external pressure or obstacles, often perceived as inescapable, or there's perceived indecision. Others may see you as hesitant or stuck. There's a sense of limitation. It can be self-imposed or created by the environment. So right now you may appear to others as constrained, even if internally you're building clarity or moving toward empowerment. So, how this connects with the rest of your spread, if you look at the previous cards, the present, emotionally aware, the challenge, the truth emerging, your self-image, logical, discerning, and in control. Your desired outcome, you want empowerment and confidence. External perception contrasts with internal growth, so others might not see how much control and clarity you've gained. People may perceive you as trapped by past relationships, indecision, or obligations. The Eight of Swords can also reflect social, environmental constraints like family, work, or social expectations that feel restricting. Your growth is internal and self-driven. Others may not recognize the change yet. There's an invitation to release external expectations or mental barriers. The Eight of Swords encourages you. It's saying the cage is mostly in perception, both yours and theirs. Clarity and action can break it. And then your hopes and fears, you got the World reversed. So this card reversed, there's a fear of incomplete outcomes. You worry that things won't resolve, or it could indicate delays or unfinished business with regards to projects, relationships, or personal goals. Or there could be a resistance to change or letting go. You may be hesitant to fully move on. Or maybe you're feeling stuck or not whole. There may be some anxiety about not reaching your potential. So your hopes and fears are deeply intertwined. You hope to feel complete, fulfilled, and empowered, like the Queen of Wands you desire. The fear is that you won't achieve closure, that the situation will remain unresolved, or that you'll feel stuck emotionally. It's very reflective. It shows you are consciously aware of the stakes. The world reversed adds internal tension between wanting closure and empowerment versus fear that the cycle won't fully resolve. So you may feel you've grown, you see the truth, you want to step into your own power, but you wonder if it will ever feel complete. This aligns beautifully with the Eight of Swords. Externally, others see limitations, which feeds your internal fear of incompletion. This is a reminder that closure is a process, not a single moment. This is a reminder that fear of incompleteness is natural, but you already have the tools to navigate it. You have a desire for wholeness. Your desire for wholeness is motivating the shift from emotional awareness to clarity to empowerment. And then the outcome, if all is to remain as is the Page of Wands reversed. This card suggests stagnation or delays. Opportunities fail to materialize, or there's a lack of follow through. Potential energy goes unused, or there may be missed chances. Growth is blocked or delayed, or there may be hesitation or fear of stepping forward. Maybe you're reluctant to take risks. In other words, if you do nothing, then the situation remains stuck emotionally, mentally, or practically. If you choose inaction, this card says the emotional awareness doesn't get translated into action. The desired empowerment stays out of reach. The truth revealed may not lead to closure. You remain stuck, possibly in self-doubt or external limitations. Basically, what it means is no action equals stalled growth. You have clarity, emotional wisdom, and power, but if you hesitate, opportunities to fully step into your desired outcome will be lost. It contrasts beautifully with the Queen of Wands as the desired outcome. Action plus confidence equals empowerment. Stay passive, it equals stagnation. Act equals transformation. So let's just summarize it. Your foundation, you got the Knight of Cups. So your situation starts with emotional pursuit and idealism. You've been acting from the heart, chasing connection and meaning, romantic or otherwise. This energy shows you're genuine intentions. You're motivated by love, empathy, and hope, following what feels right rather than what is convenient. Your heart has always led the way, even if the path is uncertain. And then your past influence, Two of Cups, says a mutual emotional bond defines the past. This isn't imagined or one-sided. You experience true reciprocity, connection, or deep friendship. This relationship or partnership still resonates and is influencing your emotional present. It explains why you care so much about the outcome and why you're emotionally invested now. The connection was real, meaningful, informative. The present situation, the Queen of Cups, if you go back, currently you're in a state of emotional awareness and intuition. You are deeply feeling, observing, and reflecting. The Queen of Cups shows you are compassionate, sensitive, and mature. You're processing both your own feelings and those of others. Your intuition guides your heart, but clarity is forming beneath the surface. What's crossing you or challenging you is the Seven of Swords reversed. The challenge is truth coming to light. Secrets, misunderstandings, or self-deception are ending. You may face uncomfortable realizations, but these are necessary for emotional growth. If you look at the shadow, it's about emotional overwhelm or betrayal may surface. If you look at the positive, clarity and honesty are possible. So what Spirit is saying is the truth will free you, even if it feels uncomfortable. Then your foundation message is the Knight of Cups. Emotional pursuit is the engine driving this situation. We've already mentioned it. Your immediate future is the Queen of Swords. This card says you're moving into a phase of clarity, decisiveness, and honesty. You're about to speak your truth, set boundaries, and act with logic and fairness. Emotional intelligence now merges with intellectual authority. You will cut through confusion and claim your voice. The desired outcome is the Queen of Wands. This card says your heart desires empowerment, confidence, and passion. You want to feel radiant, vibrant, and in control of your life, embracing independence while staying true to your warmth and charisma. You long to step fully into your own power and shine. The King of Swords, your self-image, you see yourself as logical, fair, and disciplined. You recognize your capacity for reason, discernment, and self-control. This self-perception strengthens your ability to navigate emotional challenges and move toward empowerment. You know you have the mind and clarity to make the right choices. And then your environment or how others see you is the Eight of Swords. So externally, you may appear trapped, hesitant, or restricted. Others might see you as indecisive or stuck, even though internally you're gaining clarity and building empowerment. Perceptions don't yet match your inner growth, but they don't define you. And then your hopes and fears is the world reversed. You hope for completion, wholeness, and emotional fulfillment, but you fear incompletion or unresolved outcomes. You may want closure, but you worry that the cycle may remain unfinished. You desire resolution and empowerment, but you may fear it may not fully arrive. And the outcome is the Page of Wands reversed. The outcome, if nothing changes, this card is saying if you don't take action, stagnation and missed opportunities are likely. Emotional awareness and clarity will exist, but the desired empowerment won't materialize. Growth is possible, but only through intentional action. So without stepping forward, potential remains unfulfilled. So Libra, from late January to the end of February, you are on an emotional and personal empowerment journey. It's rooted in genuine connection and heartfelt intentions. You're processing emotions and intuition. You're confronting truths and revelations. You're moving toward clarity, decisiveness, and empowerment. You're reconciling self-image with desires. You're navigating external perceptions. You're balancing your hopes and fears. And you're recognizing the cost of inaction. So bottom line is you're being guided to embrace truth, assert boundaries, and step confidently into your power. Emotional awareness, logic, and courage are all aligned, but they must act to realize the empowered, radiant outcome you desire. Okay? You must act to realize the empowered, radiant outcome you desire. You have the clarity, heart, and intellect to thrive. The next step is moving forward boldly. You can do it, Libra. That is your reading. Thank you for letting me channel these messages. I hope they gave you some insider guidance. If they did, if you could please let me know. Like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. I'm sending you lots of love and strength. Again, thank you for letting me channel these messages today, Libra. Take good care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.